guys, my name's Erin and welcome to the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden Home Safari. Today myself and my friend Colleen are here. You'll see her in just a little bit, and we are here with our wallaby mob, including Ava and her brand new Joey. Now we're going to keep a close eye on Ava throughout this most of this safari because she does have that brand new Joey in the pouch. You can sort of see wiggling around in there, and we're hoping that it's going to poke its head out and say hi to you guys while we're here doing our home safari. The rest of our wallaby mob might be around during this, so I'll point them out as you see them. Ava came to us at the beginning of this year, 2020, from another institution, from another zoo where she was born and raised. And she actually came to us already with that Joey in her pouch. One of the coolest things about marsupials is that they have a very short pregnancy. In fact, she was only pregnant for about 30 days before she gave birth to a baby that was about the size of a bumblebee. I know whenever I tell moms that, they tend to really appreciate that fact. Here comes Dawn and Tom, two of our older boys. And these guys have been great with Ava and her Joey as they have grown attached to each other and joined the mob together. And so Ava came to us with that Joey in the pouch already, and we've been really lucky to be able to see it sort of growing. And in the last couple weeks, we've started to see it emerge from the pouch. And so we're hoping that we might see a little bit of that today. Ava's enjoying one of her favorite treats, romaine lettuce. These guys do not have thumbs, so it is kind of hard for them to hold on to things, although I think she's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, Erin, those wallabies have those special hands that allow them to grab onto low-hanging tree branches because they do like to eat a lot of what we call browse. So in the middle of the yard, you can see that there are some branches with some leaves. That's one of the wallabies' favorite treats because that's what they would eat in the wild, just random trees, some of their favorite trees, and they would use those grabby hands to pull down the branches and strip them bare. And they also even like to strip the bark.
That is right. These guys have nice long teeth and very large ears. You guys probably just saw Ava start to run around the yard a little bit. I think she might have heard something. She was trying to figure out if she should be alarmed or not. But I think she has discovered it is nothing dangerous, and she will settle back down in just a moment. It's a loud bird. I'm throwing her some of her favorite treats right now. We have banana and sweet potato and romaine lettuce, although she does really love to strip leaves off branches like Colleen said. These guys are excellent plant eaters in the wild where they are found, which is mainly in Australia. Now these guys belong to a pretty large family that most people are pretty familiar with. Wallabies, kangaroos, and wallaroos are all considered really closely related animals, and there are 50 species between those three kinds of animals. And there's about 30 species of wallabies. Now the three you see out here, Dawn, Tom, and Ava, are all the same kind of wallaby. These guys are known as a Bennett's wallaby or a red-necked wallaby. And this is as big as they get. I think Ava might get a little bit bigger. I cannot remember how much she weighed last time we did it, but these boys are about 30 pounds, 40 pounds. And I expect Ava to get not quite as big as them, but still pretty large.
She was somewhere around 8 kilograms.
Okay, so that's about 17, 18 pounds. So she's still got a little bit of growing to do. And obviously that Joey has a lot of growing to do as well.
Well, and obviously that Joey made up part of the weight as well.
That is true. Hopefully once he emerges, he or she emerges, Ava will have an easier time getting around and will probably lose some of that baby weight.
Yeah, even if you guys aren't able to see the Joey during this home safari, which hopefully you are, but even if not, you're getting a really good look at her pouch when she stands up to eat, and as she approaches the camera and stuff, you're able to see how low-hanging that pouch is, and it can give you an idea of just how big that baby in her pouch is. So the joey will stay in the pouch for quite some time still. It is still completely pink and furless, so it looks a little bit silly when it peeks its head out. You guys have probably seen pictures on social media, or if you got to see the video that we posted of our little joey, you saw that it was all pink, and that's because it's still growing. As Erin said, they're only the size of a bumblebee when they're born, and they crawl into that pouch. So they've got a lot of growing to do once they get into the pouch, developing the fur and growing in size and growing all of their limbs, and all of that happens while they're in the pouch. Erin, when do we expect the joey to be out of the pouch fully? When did Ava get out of her mom's pouch?
So one of the great things about being part of a zoo is that we're able to talk to other zoos and trade lots of information back and forth. And that includes the place that Ava came from. So I know that she actually first emerged totally from her mama's pouch when she was 5 months old. And this joey is just a little bit over 4 months old, we believe. So I think we might still have a month before the baby gets out and starts walking around, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to see lots of little peeks. We've seen so far its nose and eyes and ears and even a back foot.
Giant back feet.
Yes, actually, speaking of back feet, these guys are known as macropods. Colleen, what the heck is a macropod?
Well, they have giant feet to start off. So macropods being our wallaroos, our wallabies, kangaroos, guys like that, they have giant back feet that help them hop along. I'm sure you guys have even, as a child, practice hopping around like a kangaroo. Those back feet can propel them forward about 10 to 15 feet when they get up to full speed. It's pretty impressive how powerful they are. Kangaroos can also lean back onto their tail and use those back feet to kick forward, so they can use it as a defense mechanism as well. Wallabies are a little bit different than kangaroos in the fact that they do a little bit of a crawl. So you might notice as the wallabies are moving around the enclosure is that they lean forward onto their front arms a little bit, and then they'll bring their back legs to follow, and they use their tail kind of like a tripod. They've got a really interesting way of locomoting. For kangaroos, they do a lot more just plain hopping. So, yeah.
Now these guys live just behind the Animal Ambassador Center here at the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. And they are not on a full exhibit, although they can be seen from certain angles from the Children's Zoo. Their main role here at the zoo is to be animal ambassadors. And basically that means that we spend a lot of time and energy making sure that they're comfortable being around humans. And that has included things even as simple as us sitting here and being near them and petting their backs and giving them treats and making sure that they're used to all sorts of different things that maybe some wallabies or kangaroos in the wild would not be so appreciative of. So if you guys are ever lucky enough to go see wallabies or kangaroos in the wild, I would definitely not recommend trying to go up and touch any of them.
No, in the wild they're actually pretty skittish animals because they are just prey animals and they are herbivores. So they just eat all that plant material, lots of organic stuff. So wallabies, if they get scared, they're gonna hop away pretty quickly. But our guys, they're pretty used to us.
Ready for some questions?
I am.
All right. Delilah wants to know, do wallabies live in groups? And if so, how many can be in a group?
That's a great question, Delilah. These guys can live in groups, and we call them mobs. That is generally what a group of kangaroos or wallabies is called. And these guys can live in groups of up to 50. Mixed boys and girls. They just kind of all live together like that. And I'll say about our mob, even though it is small, they are really well bonded and they get along really well. We very rarely see any things like fights or aggression between them. These guys get along very well and are really good at sharing all of their favorite treats, which is good.
Molly wants to know, how does the baby get fed in the pouch?
That's an excellent question. So just like other mammals, they nurse from their mom's milk. So mom does still feed, and the baby latches on to nipples inside of that pouch. So where other animals have theirs on the outside, think of maybe a dog or an opossum or something that would have its nipples on the outside. Ava has hers inside her pouch so that the joey can latch on in there and drink her milk.
Nora has a great question that I'm actually very curious about too. Does the joey go to the bathroom in the pouch?
That's a great question. Actually, we've had all great questions so far, you guys. Yeah. Right now, the joey is just eating milk, so it's not going to be the same sort of poops that we see from our adult animal friends. But absolutely, and mom helps clean that up and make sure that that joey is not only in a nice, safe, protected place in the pouch, but it's also a clean and healthy place to be.
Yeah, we sometimes actually see Ava reach down into her pouch, and sometimes she's maintaining the pouch and she's grooming in there and making sure that her pouch is nice and clean. But then also sometimes she's reaching down and grooming and checking on the joey itself. It's pretty cool that she can just open it right up like like a bag, and then reach in, and when she's done, she actually can cinch it back up. So you heard us say that we'll be lucky if Ava lets the baby out. The reason that we said that is because Ava kind of controls the opening of the pouch and when the joey is allowed to be out. So she'll relax that opening when she needs to get in or when she's willing to let the joey out.
And if you guys are watching her right now, that opening is right about where you would think her belly button would be. So that's a spot to really watch out for if she was going to relax and let that baby out. You can see that was just a tiny little kick from the baby. It's moving around in there a little bit. And like we said, we're hoping he or she pokes his head out today, but we will see what happens.
Lauren's wondering, did the wallabies dig all the holes that they're seeing?
Yeah, all these holes in this yard. So this is a yard that's attached to their indoor barn, and we actually try to use this space for a whole lot of different animals. And so there's actually two other species of animals that spend a lot of time out here. One of them is the bat-eared fox. We have two bat-eared foxes here at the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. Their names are Frankie and Otis, and they are the ones who dug these holes, although the wallabies seem to get around them just fine. And our other animal who spends some time out here is Isla the tamandua, who also isn't a huge hole digger, but she does love playing in dirt, so I think she doesn't make the holes any better for sure. And every so often we'll come out here and refill everything and make it nice and even for these guys to run around in.
Angela wants to know, when does the baby get fur?
Probably pretty soon, since it's going to be making its way out of the pouch pretty soon.
Yeah, these guys generally, by the time the baby is completely out of the pouch, which should be in about 1 month, it should have at least, maybe not fur as thick as Ava's and Dawn's and Tom's, but at least some peach fuzz going on there. So I expect by the time it fully emerges, it'll go from pink to sort of a grayish color.
Maybe a little fuzzy.
A little fuzzy, yeah.
Sarah wants to know, is the joey born in the pouch?
That's a great question. The joey is actually not born in the pouch. It is born just how other mammals are born, out of the same place that other mammals are born, and it crawls its way up into the pouch, down through the hole, and then it latches down in the pouch where it needs to be to spend the next 5 months while it's waiting to come out.
Yeah, I said earlier that Ava gave birth to this joey probably about 4 months ago, and it was the size of a bumblebee. At that time, its eyes were closed, its ears were closed, it didn't even have back legs yet. The only part of it that was developed were those front legs, because the only thing that baby's supposed to do once it's born is crawl and find its way into that pouch to mom's safety.
Colton wants to know, are they super soft?
I would say the wallabies feel the closest to like a bunny rabbit to me. What do you think, Colleen?
Yeah, not quite chinchilla,
Yeah.
but softer than most dogs.
Yes, agreed. So they're pretty soft.
Ivy and Winnie wanted to know, how long does the baby stay in the pouch?
So even after the baby emerges from the pouch, which we expect to be in another month or so, it will still spend most of its time in there. Here comes Dawn is just begging to be the star of this show right now. Here, buddy, you can have that. Once the baby comes out of that pouch, it's going to probably be in and out for a little while after that. I feel like it's trying to come out, but I'm not positive. So we're going to keep a good close eye on that.
I can confirm that she is at least relaxing the opening, and it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
But everybody don't get too excited because we're not sure yet.
It's only because Tom took the focus off of for a second, so we'll still pretend we're talking about Tom here. Tom is one of my favorite animals at the Cincinnati Zoo. He, even though he's got his ears are a little bit bald, they always have been. He's a really sweet guy, and he loves getting snuggles, and he loves having treats, and he is such a good friend to his new friend Ava. We're really glad to have him around.
Madison wants to know, can wallabies swim?
Oh, I'm sorry, honey. That was a bad throw. She's okay. Chances are wallabies don't come across water too often where they live. These guys are in Australia in mostly dry sort of grassland areas. If they do come across water, most mammals can instinctually swim a little bit, but they're probably more likely to try to wade through a stream than actually swim through it. I'll also say we've had these guys with access to this yard in the rain before, and they're not huge fans of the rain. They much prefer to be inside and warm and dry.
But if we are going to see one outside, it's usually Ava. She just seems
That's
to
true.
want to be outside no matter what.
She's an outdoorsy girl.
Maya wants to know, what else do they eat?
So here at the zoo, we talked a little bit about this yesterday when we did the Lil and Teeny Armadillo home safari. But we can actually buy food that's specially formulated for different kinds of animals. So just like we can go to the store and buy dog food or cat food, you can actually go to a company and buy wallaby food or kangaroo food. So they actually have two kinds of dry food that I give them. One of them is called kangaroo and wallaby food, and the other one is called Happy Hopper. They definitely love the Happy Hopper a lot. And then in addition to that, we also give them lots of hay. And then all of this produce, the lettuce and the corn that I've been giving them and the banana is all bonus treats for them. So they don't normally get that stuff. But I thought since we're doing the home safari today, we would do a little something special for the wallabies.
Karen wants to know, does the mom assist the joey in getting to the pouch when it's first born?
I don't think so. Frankly, it's so small at that point that I don't think she can really feel or understand what's quite going on. That baby is on its own from the very beginning. Now, once it's latched on and starts developing in the pouch, mom definitely starts paying more attention to it and takes really good care of it. But yeah, as far as from birth to the pouch, it's sort of on its own.
Well, also, wallabies have very thick fur, so I don't know that, as Erin said, that she could even really feel it too much, making its way up there. Imagine a little tiny bumblebee landing on Ava right now, and crawling very slowly, and that's probably what it would feel like for her. So I don't even know that she would really notice too much.
Yeah.
Jamie wants to know, what is a wallaby's best sense?
That is a great question. We can play one more time. My favorite game to play when I learn a new animal, when I find a new animal, is I look at their faces, and that usually tells me what their best senses are. So if we look at Ava right now, you guys can see her very large ears and her nice long nose, and her eyes are actually not the teeniest. They're pretty good size. These guys' best sense by far is their hearing, and that's what they use really to find their way. Oh yeah, we have some ears right here. They use those ears to find their way around. You can see that they swivel a little bit depending on where noise is happening, and they're always alert to noises that are happening around them. Their nose is probably their second best sense, and then their eyes are probably their third best. They have decent eyesight, but definitely not as good as some other eagle-eyed animals like eagles.
Our last question is from Keely. She wants to know what the joey's name is.
This is a perfect last question that I feel like was set up specifically for this situation. We do not have a name for the wallaby joey yet. We were actually hoping that you guys could help us out.
Yeah, so if you guys in the comments on this video can tell us your best name suggestions for our Joey. And since we don't know if it's a boy or a girl, go ahead and either just give us both boy and girl names or give us names that can work for both. And then we are going to take all those names and we're going to choose 2. And then us keepers of Ava, we're going to choose 2 names that we like the very most out of your submissions. And then we are going to shoot that back out to you guys and let you guys vote so that everybody is having a chance to help name our new Joey.
All right, guys. So once again, we wanted to thank you so much for tuning in today and watching our home safari and learning a little bit more about our wallabies. We'll stick around for another, couple seconds or so just to see if that baby decides to come out. But keep an eye on our social media, and we promise that as we get more pictures and videos of baby, we'll keep you guys updated, and you'll definitely hear more from this Joey. And like Colleen said, feel free to submit baby names for us, and we will hopefully get this Joey named pretty soon. That's going to wrap it up for us. So thank you guys so much. Tune in tomorrow, 3 o'clock, same time, same channel.